Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Venom Wave 2 Venompool Build-A-Figure is the last figure in the standard wave. Before the Build-A-Figure itself, this is the Ghost-Spider or Venomized SpiderGwen. She changed her name. She was never actually SpiderGwen. SpiderGwen was just the title of the comic, right? She went by Spider-Woman, and then I guess at some point she changed her name to Ghost-Spider when she came into Earth 616, I believe, from what my understanding of it. So it's kind of interesting, but Ghost-Spider is what it is. Spider-Gwen always sounded cool, but you know, whatever. The Spider-Man Maximum Venom logo there in the front looks really awesome. The packaging is really, really cool because we get the Venomized look, so we get symbiote kind of all throughout the packaging. Just looks awesome. The Venompool Build-A-Figure piece is the torso, and that thing is just massive. Look at that thing. It takes up more space in the package than the Ghost Spider figure itself. Up at the top, we get that cool Spider-Man logo with the Venom symbiote overtaking it halfway. Looks really cool. Side artwork of Ghost Spider looks really awesome. We get symbiote all over. It just looks really, really cool. Here on the back of the package, we have a look at the product image for the Ghost Spider figure. All the figures in the Wave 2 build Venompool, because of course the movie Venom figure was part of the wave, but it's not part of the Build-A-Figure because he didn't come with a piece, so that's why it's not included there. So only 5 figures. That's a concept I'd love to get behind if Hasbro continues to do that. I highly doubt it though. But the bio for Ghost Spider reads, when the Venom symbiote attaches to Gwen Stacy, she gains extreme new powers as Ghost Spider. But wasn't she Ghost Spider already? I don't know, that's kind of weird. But anyway, let's open it up. Okay, and here's the Venomized Ghost Spider figure out of the package. So I'm actually a little confused, because the design actually does, for the most part, match up with GWENOM, which is the Venomized Spider-Gwen, but went by GWENOM in the comics, but Spider-Man Maximum Venom is just going with the Ghost Spider thing, and surprisingly they have basically the same design. I think the only difference from what I could tell is the white on the forearm is not present on the comic version, and I think that might be it. I could be wrong on that, but this is actually a decent figure. The only problem I have about it is it just kind of suffers from the same articulation that all other female figures suffer from, so that's just kind of the difficult part. In terms of accessories, she doesn't come with any except for the Build-A-Figure piece, which is the Venompool torso and swords and sheaths. So we have the swords there, which look pretty cool. So they actually already come in the sheath, and I've heard from 2 people though that the sheaths is very tricky to get to stay on the figure itself. So my buddy Quinn and my buddy Paul have both told me that. The torso just looks absolutely amazing. I love the textured red portion of the suit. It just looks really, really good, and it's crazy beefy. So we have all the Build-A-Figure pieces there in the pile, and we will get to that shortly. But first, let's zoom in on Ghost Spider. Okay, so here's a close-up look at the Venomized Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen or GWENOM, whatever you want to call it. The hood is crazy large, and because of that, you can't really get a good look at the head. So I'm going to see, I think it's glued on there, but I'm going to see if we could take it off. It's not like the previous Spider-Gwen figure where the hood was just kind of a floating piece. So if you pop the head off, you can just kind of pop the head back on without the hood. It was much smaller, so you could see her mask or her head. This figure, not so much. So I haven't checked to see if it can actually be removed. I think it's glued on with part of the head, but I'll find out here shortly. But the figure is cool. It has a very dark blue to it, and that actually looks pretty good on this figure. I know it gave the Miles Morales figure kind of crap for that, but it's more of a blue color and looks more intentional, whereas the Miles Morales just looks like a not good black, if that makes sense. But what I really like is the design on the jacket. So peep that. Look at the back of that jacket. That looks awesome. I love the way that came out looking. The paint is applied extremely well. No mess ups, no fuzzy lines, none of that. And there's some creases in the jacket, and it's still applied really, really nice. So I really like that. Get some white on the forearms. We can see some blue coming through, not that big of a deal. Got the white on the back of the hands. That's actually a molded part that got the paint. So that's really cool that we got, you know, special hands just for this figure in addition to the special forearms, because with that spike, a little bit of the white paint there. As far as the rest of the figure, not really a whole lot else. The feet are new, so we get the ballet slippers, but they have kind of a point to them, and that is done in that turquoise color. The tongue itself has paint right there, so a little bit of white paint to show some teeth. There's some spikes and whatnot kind of throughout the rest of the tongue, but no paint. So like right there, no paint, but man, that's actually kind of It's kind of pokey, so be careful with that. And then trying to get her to stand, she's like stepping all over this damn thing, so you can kind of move it around. It's not really going to stay, but you can just get it to kind of hold, because it's just a thin piece of rubbery plastic as part of the hood. And I really like the concept that the hood is kind of like a mouth, kind of with the symbiote overtaking the head. I really like the way that came out looking. Paint looks pretty good. Looks like we missed a little bit of white paint right there where you can see some of that red coming through. Not that big of a deal to me, but some of you guys might care. I don't know if they just missed it or if they're supposed to be white continuing on through the rest of the hood there. Mine does not have it. You get a little bit of white in there to show some teeth, so that is pretty cool. So actually really like this one way more than the Miles Morales figure. Way more. But let's zoom out for her articulation, and then I'm going to see if we can take that hood out. Okay, so I popped the head off. The hood is not coming out. Not coming out. And one thing that's interesting that I didn't notice before, that this body is the Jubilee Build-A-Figure body. So you see that ring right there on the neck? That's that same one that the Jubilee Build-A-Figure had, because that was like her zipper portion. So that is interesting that we actually get to see a reuse of that body, that particular upper torso. Now, the rest of the figure, you know, has been used multiple times, but that upper torso, that's pretty interesting. And there's little spikes on the jacket sleeves right there, so I thought that was pretty cool. But the head is glued in there, so there is no taking that out. It is glued in there. The pink around the eye lenses is done nicely. The white is done nicely, but you can't get a better look at it because it is stuck on in there. Okay, so the articulation for the Venomized Ghost-Spider, she can look down, I guess she's looking down. It's kind of tricky with the hood. That's as far up as she is going to look, because it's just not going to get you any additional movement in there. But I guess you could kind of see her face a little bit better that way. You get the rotation in there. There's not going to be any pivot going on. Shoulder goes up all the way. You get a full rotation there, of course. It's single jointed elbow. It is a female figure with the swivel at the elbow. Just about a 90-degree bend, and that is it. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. We have the diaphragm rocker because it is a female figure, so pivot to the side that much. Pivot to the other side that much, so that we know is not a lot. Forward, can you even tell that I did it? Not really, but I did. Going back a little bit, not a whole lot. No waist swivel because the diaphragm rocker also has that twist, so you could swivel there. Legs go out that far apart. She can kick forward that high there. Doesn't really go back. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, which works really well. We get a calf swivel right there, right in the middle of it. Foot hinges down. We get a solid hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And one thing that I like is she did not get super thin, flat feet like Miles Morales did. But as you can see, that damn tongue just like kind of gets in the way. So you could do different things with it that you may want to do, and it kind of holds in place. So you could do stuff like that. You could wrap it around her back a couple of times, wrap around her legs, do some stuff like that. Whatever you want to do, you can do, but it is not bendy wire. Whoops. See, she tripped over her own tongue. Now it's like stuck and I gotta untangle it. So you can do all kinds of different things with it, whatever kind of you want to choose on how to go, but like that is kind of like a standard one. It just kind of loops around. Okay, so our first side-by-side comparison, we get the Ghost-Spider next to the SpiderGwen. So SpiderGwen has been released a couple of times. This is now the third time, because we had this one, which was from the Absorbing Man Build-A-Figure. We had the one in the 2-pack from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was a Target exclusive, which wasn't really film accurate. Was pretty close. The Gwen Stacy head wasn't, but the paint, the deco, everything like that really was. So here now, Ghost-Spider makes the third, and then we're going to get a fourth because we will get an actual film accurate Into the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy coming. So there will be a total of 4, but this is definitely a nice addition. I really like it a lot more than the Miles Morales figure. So let's actually see how those two kind of look side by side. Okay, so the two Venomized figures in the wave, we see Ghost-Spider and Miles Morales, and you know what? They look pretty good next to each other, but I think the Gwen is still better than the Miles Morales. But for our full Venomized team, we have Ghost-Spider, Miles Morales, and Captain America. And Captain America, of course, is the Walmart exclusive from the wave. Oops, it's a little bit taller. So you can see them there. So the Venomized figures are pretty interesting. You know, there's this whole Venomized thing, a lot of different merch coming out, a lot of Funko Pop. I don't think Hasbro is going to go all crazy and give us a bunch of Venomized things unless Marvel wanted them to. So I think we tend to forget that, you know, a lot of these things, Marvel has some say in what figures get released, and I'm sure they're mandating a few of them, like Venomized figures. I don't know that Hasbro would have done it for a few episodes of a Spider-Man cartoon that's probably going to be off the air soon, and you only get those few episodes that are going to show. But who knows kind of the business end of it, how that all works. So it's kind of interesting. I don't hate these figures. The Miles Morales is my least favorite, but I don't hate it. He's just not one that I would necessarily choose to make if the decision was up to me. But it is what it is. But they look really good together. I really like the Captain America. I really like the Ghost-Spider. Miles Morales is just okay. A little bit okay. Okay, and here she is next to Carnage and Venom. Huge size difference between the three because she is kind of that teenage body mold. In the comics, she's still kind of a teenager. I don't know if they've aged her up or anything, but she is still a teenage version of Gwen Stacy, not a full adult Gwen Stacy, or actually just after high school Gwen Stacy, I believe. I have the first however many issues, and I've read them, but I really don't remember because that was years ago now. But that's why she is so small in comparison. Okay, so my final thoughts on the figure. I really like it. I like it way more than I thought I would. I didn't think I would like this figure whatsoever. I thought I would like the Miles Morales one way more than this one, and it turns out I like this one so much more than that Miles Morales figure. There's just something about it. It's got a fun factor, and I just love the whole hood mouth concept and the jacket. Look at that spider design on the back. That Venom design just looks absolutely amazing. So I am really, really, really happy with this figure. You guys let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts on this figure are. What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like the video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching as I try and get her to balance back again on one foot, and she's about to topple over. There she is, and she's falling. Thanks, guys.